In this video, I'm going to give you guys tips and tricks to have a great time with Date with Destiny. The purpose of this video, though, is to give people that are going or are interested in going some helpful hints to have a great time while they're there. I stayed at a local hotel. I didn't stay at the host hotel because that was probably 3 times the money to stay at a place, a mile down the road. So I ended up staying at a DoubleTree down the road, and I would just basically walk over to the event every day. If you want to drive over to the event, you can totally do that. Just keep in mind that over the 5 or 6 days, you're going to end up paying about $100 in parking. I think the reason why I wouldn't recommend staying too far away if it's within your budget is because they might tell you you're going to get out at 1:30 at night. The latest we ended up getting out was on the relationship evening, which was at 3:15 in the morning. So the reason why is, from what I can gather, is Tony, it kind of develops organically. So they may schedule to end at 1:30, but if one of the counseling sessions or something he's doing with someone from the audience, it may take an extra 30 or 45 minutes to get to where they want to get that person to emotionally. So it changes things. So nothing's ever set in stone. They may say, hey, we're supposed to start at 9 tomorrow. You might end up starting at 10:30. You might end up starting earlier. I checked in a day in advance. So let's say it starts on a Friday or whatever. I checked in on Thursday evening. A lot of people ended up checking in on Thursday evening. Took me about an hour or so to check in. There's multiple lines with multiple checkpoints. It's good to sign up for the text notifications because when the schedules change, which they will, they're going to notify you through the text. Or when a speaker is getting ready to come out, or if Tony's going to be getting ready to come out, they're going to notify you through text. A lot of times people have questions about, hey, what should I bring for food, water, things of that sort. Don't worry about water. They have plenty of water jugs on the sides of the main room, so you're good to go on that front. What you are going to want to bring is some sort of reusable water bottle. My recommendation is when it's really busy and you need to go to the restroom, if you have the time, go outside the main room and then do a little exploring in the convention center, and you'll find bathrooms that have nobody in them with far less traffic. So if you're looking for a little more peace and quiet, whether you want to work on your workbooks, you need to go to the restroom, the lines are ridiculously long, and you can always explore a little bit in the convention center. They do give you some food. It might be an apple, if I recall. Another time they do some white bread with what I believe was quinoa inside, pretty plain, but you'll get things like that. If you need to eat, of course, you can go outside the main room, and there will be an area where they have some plant-derived options, maybe some sort of brown rice or with tomato sauce or something. And then they'll have conventional sandwiches, salads, chips. I don't remember much in the way of cookies, but I didn't look anyways. But the point is, if you need food, you will have options. Just keep in mind that the food does get very redundant over time, because I remember 5 days in a row, I don't remember eating a warm meal. I mean, everything I remember eating was cold. There are plenty of restaurants surrounding the convention center. So if I'm the convention center and I'm looking out, there's tons of things. There's a LA Fitness across the street. There's a movie theater across the street. There's a Cheesecake Factory. My favorite place I'm going to list here in the video, it was my favorite place because they had a really good Brussels sprouts toast. It's like an avocado toast that was phenomenal. I would eat that. I would actually buy that usually to go, keep it in the room, and that was my main meals. One of my biggest recommendations to anybody would be, on the first day, get there early, okay? Not for the reasons you might be thinking, meaning let's say they say, hey, doors open at 9. The doors realistically might not open till 10, I'll be honest with you. I would still get there early though. The reason why is that's the first day where really you get to choose your own seating, okay? After that, you're gonna be in groups and you're gonna have a buddy system, and you guys are gonna move around each day as a unit in the facility, in the convention center. But the first day you get to pick wherever you want. It's first come, first serve for the most part, aside from the platinum and diamond members, which are really up front towards the center. That being said, I was very lucky the first day. I kind of stumbled across it accidentally. When the doors opened, we went in, go get your seat, get as close as you can to the center, as close up front as you can. I would recommend try to get closer to the edges of the rows. That way, if you have to go to the restroom, if you have to get up, or if you want to dance. Some of you may not be familiar with this, but yes, when you go, in particular when Tony comes out, you're going to want to be bundled up. I thought it was a mild exaggeration when they said they really bring the room down to between 38 and 44 degrees. They really do. He may be out there in jeans and a t-shirt with a hat, but for 6 hours or 8 hours, but it will really be 42, 43 degrees in that room, air conditioning temperature. It gets really cold. I mean, you can almost see your breath, and then you can definitely see like I swear you can see like frost in the air. It's unbelievable. So in certain areas of the room are worse. I remember one of the days we were up in the right-hand corner towards the stage, and wow, is that area so much colder than the other areas. I think because that's one of where the main ducts was located. One of the biggest things that I think people can do if they have the budget and they have the time, and it made a huge difference for me. You know, it's been 10 or 11 months now since I went to Date with Destiny, and honestly, everything from it stuck. There's a lot of reasons for that. One, I'm a really committed person in general. Two, I stuck to the daily rituals day in and day out. And lastly, and probably most importantly, when Date with Destiny ended, I did not go right back into my normal life. I actually took 2 or 3 days. I left the West Palm area. I went down into Boca. And for 2 or 3 days, I just reflected on everything because I was pretty tired. I didn't really, you know, you get all these new things and all these new things you're supposed to do, and you've kind of drained yourself emotionally. And taking 2 or 3 days to really let that digest, really think about why this is important, what I'm committed to, how I'm going to overcome the obstacles and that I would face when I returned, allowed me to really make that happen when I returned. And I know a lot of people can't do that, and you might not be able to do that. If you can't do that, just be mindful when you come back, try to set around some sacred time for yourself to really implement everything that you're committed yourself to. Because really, the goal of going with Date with Destiny is to inspire change and to create the seeds, but those things are going to grow over time. They need 4 seasons like anything else, and there's going to be a harvesting point. You're not going to get the harvest from these new seeds 3 days later. It's a year from now, 6 months from now, 5 years from now. One thing you might love or hate about Date with Destiny is you will have the buddy system as well, where basically the first day you're going to be on your own, or maybe you're with your spouse, your girlfriend, your brother, whatever. And after that first day, they are going to break you guys up. And which is a good thing. You're actually better off. The whole point here is to open up and dive into yourself in ways you never have before. And part of that is easier to do with a stranger. I mean, if you do that with people you know, it's usually not the same experience. One other thing to keep in mind is you will be in groups or like a big team. You will spend time with your group in advance. I'm lukewarm on that. I actually think that the group stuff was great. The problem is the room was so loud, I could never hear them talking. I think our initial team leader didn't have a strong voice anyway, so it was getting drowned out by all the other teams. So I wasn't able to get a lot out of that. So you may or may not see value in that. I ended up taking that time a lot of times sitting on my own and working on stuff. I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. I think your best option is you'll know who your true team leader is because they'll be in an orange shirt most likely that'll say team leader or senior leader or senior coach or something, senior trainer. I would tell you, if you're an introvert type like I am, not one that's going to raise their hands and ask for help or really look for a lot of attention, go to them privately. They are amazing people. They're really warm people. They're very caring people. And if you're working on things that you go through from the workbooks or the sheets, you're asking questions, or as you come up with your template, if you will, you're going to have a template of something by the time you finish the course or the Date with Destiny of the week. Talk to them in advance, because a lot of people start down a path and then they don't ever speak to a senior leader who basically says, you know, we could make this a little truer to what you want. We can change this in a way to get you more accurately in line with your goals, or what you're doing here is in conflict with what you're telling me you're really looking for. So work with them. The point is open up, have communication. If you don't have a good buddy, or maybe if you have a decent buddy, but you're someone that you've saved and worked your tail off to be able to go to this thing, this is a big moment for you and you're about to have your breakthrough in life, or your first of many, or the next in a great line of many, work with that senior leader. 5 minutes with that person. I only talked to mine for maybe 12 minutes total over the whole thing, and it happened accidentally. Was profound and super helpful. Date with Destiny is something where you really get back whatever you put in. You will see people that are going all out, and then you'll see people that are almost, you feel like, never in the room. They're always walking around, looking at shops or doing whatever. They're outside on their phone. So if you're there, be there all in the moment. Don't be on your phone. Don't be doing the email stuff. It's really going to pull away from the experience. Maintain and monitor your energy for sure. So if when you're feeling a little burnt out, look for areas within the convention center. It's massive, where you can have that quiet time. Even if everyone else is working on things, you're supposed to work on things. Listen to your compass. I think that's really important with this. It's about learning. It's not about trying to be approval-seeking behavior for everyone else anymore. It's about doing what's best for you. As far as pen and paper, they are going to give you a workbook. Mine's floating around right here. I did use the workbook a good chunk. Actually, it's helpful for me when I came home. Also, how could I forget? Hand sanitizer is probably your best friend at this thing. You are going to be hugging and shaking hands and grabbing tons of people and holding hands and dancing and touching stuff, and almost everyone there gets sick to some degree. I think it's because the room's freezing, no one's sleeping, everyone's out of their routine, and they're just giving their all every day. You may want to bring your own vitamin C, extra electrolytes, and things like that. Hopefully these tips and tricks were really helpful. If you have any questions, you want to know more about Date with Destiny, if you have any questions about business mastery, definitely hit me up directly, anthonypasquale.com, or anthony@anthonypasquale.com is my email, and I will happily give you any information I can to make your experience that much better.